So you can imagine, you're sitting there and your skin will just split, and then you'll start bleeding. I would get to the point where I wouldn't go in and stay in a hotel. Because it looks like you've murdered somebody in the morning. You know,
that must be painful though.
It's not pleasant.
Yeah.
And it's a double insult, if you like. You've got the pain, and then you've got the I can't function as a normal person sort of thing. Well, people will look at that and think, oh, a diseased, horrible person, and I'm not. Bit that makes it that nice smoothness.
Yeah.
So the beeswax gives the balm, because it's a balm, a nice drag when you push it across your finger.
Yeah, and it's very stable as well.
Yes.
Like it's beautiful. Yeah.
Is that stuff. Now this, if you get a little bit and put it in your hand, just try to get it out without it doing it. You get a little bit, hold it in your fingers. As soon as you do, you'll feel it. It's like greases.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And that is it melting at your body temperature.
Oh,
that's why
gorgeous.
chocolate is so gorgeous when you put it in your mouth.
This is beautiful. It's so smooth and beautiful. So this is cocoa butter.
This is cocoa butter.
Wow.
But this is raw Chilean cocoa butter. Psoriasis is a wonderful suffer that you know. It's not a disease because you can't cure it.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful thing to suffer from, because it is painful. Your skin splits.
Yeah.
You're very sort of conscious about how people see you, because if you go to swimming baths or go in a pool, they can't catch it because it's genetic.
Right.
But they look at you and it's like, oh God, look, there's a diseased person.
Right.
At school I was known as Fish Boy, which was great because I've got scales.
Oh.
But the main thing about psoriasis is it hurts and you just can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Now they have done a number of, shall we say, admissions to hospital for it. So most of my life I've been in and out of hospital, about 11 times now.
But what does it feel like to have psoriasis? Is it itchy? Is it
the Greek for psoriasis, where it comes from, is actually the itch.
Oh God.
Because the problem is you itch like mad.
Yeah.
And because it's itching, you scratch it.
Yeah.
Because you scratch it, you make it worse.
Yeah.
So it itches more.
Yeah.
And it becomes impossible to stop. It started off with me thinking, hang on a minute, psoriasis gets better when there's a lot of sunlight.
Right. Yeah.
Sunlight forms vitamin D in the skin.
Yeah.
So what if it's a vitamin D deficiency?
Okay.
So take vitamin D. So I started taking 1000 IU vitamin D every day.
Yeah.
And my psoriasis sort of stopped.
Okay.
Which was quite cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite enough to push it over the edge.
So it wasn't getting worse, is that what?
It wasn't getting worse, but it's not getting any better.
Any better, sure.
So I thought, okay, fine. It still itches, so what I need to do is stop it from itching.
Yeah.
So to stop it from itching, you can use essential oils, which basically stop you from itching.
Yeah.
And then I started Well, if you're going to put it on something, you want it as a balm. It's got to last longer.
Yeah.
So you look at the creams that you can buy in the shops, they last for an hour and a half. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah.
I need it to last all day. So what I did was I thought, right, I'll formulate a product that has a really nice softening effect, and I'll put the anti-itch in there.
Yeah.
So hopefully it will make it soothe the skin and stop it from itching. And that's basically what we started with.
Wow.
And the first one I made was really wrong. It was like a brick. You had to use a cheese grater to get it on. I thought, yeah, that ain't going to fly.
And you actually formulated this in your own kitchen. You're experimenting with these ingredients.
I do it on myself.
Yeah.
I'm a guinea pig. I don't care.
Yeah. So you were literally doing this to treat yourself.
Yes.
You wanted to treat your psoriasis.
Now, one of the instances that I was playing around with, I suddenly noticed that what I thought at the time was arthritic arthritis, which is an inflammatory arthritis, on my left knee, which was stopping me from walking.
Yeah.
I put it on there and it sort of went away.
So you're treating your psoriasis, but then you notice that you get pain relief as well.
Yeah, and I thought, well, that's no, I can't explain that. That's really weird.
Yeah.
So, being me, I don't believe anything. So I kept trying it. And after 2 weeks, my beloved wife said, "What the hell have you done? You can walk. What's going on? What have you done?" Because she doesn't trust anything I do. Because it's like, oh. So I explained what had happened. She said, "Well, I don't care. Do it again. Keep doing it."
Yeah.
And I have to have regular checkups with the doctor. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor, the first thing she said to me was, "What have you done?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I told her." And she said, "Well, it's not going to hurt you. Just keep doing it."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, it's a placebo. It's got to be a placebo because I can't see the mechanism behind it. I can't see how it works." So yeah. And she said, "Right, fine." And it keeps working.
Wow.
Every day. And at 3 o'clock every morning when I get up, I put it on, and it lasts until about 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock.
And this is a formulation, the one that really works. How many formulations did you have leading up to the one that you discovered that, no, this really does work?
That was 5.
5, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that was 5. That one was quite big. Bearing in mind it's running on the back of the psoriasis one.
Yeah.
The psoriasis one was probably about 115.
Yeah, so a lot of trial and error as
Yeah.
you got to the formulation.
Yeah, because you make something and you try it and you think, that doesn't work. I'll make it a slightly different way. You make it slightly, and it's completely different.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that doesn't work either. Right, how are we going to do this?
So you've been experimenting with different formulations to come up with one that works.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that feeling then, or that sense you got when you did finally get the one that, because the one that we've got now, this psoriasis one, that comes in the 2 sizes, this is the one.
This is it.
This is it. And
This is it. This one is it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what's in it and how you came to this one and the feeling that you had that it works.
Okay, it's a traditional balm.
Okay.
A traditional balm is basically all the good bits dissolved in an oil, which is the carrier oil.
Yep.
And the carrier oil is going to be too greasy, it'll wash off, it'll rub off on your clothes, it'll do all sorts of weird things.
Yep.
So you have to put waxes in.
Okay.
So you put beeswax in.
Right.
Beeswax is a nice... Did you want to have a look at a piece of beeswax?
Let's have a look at the beeswax. And I've actually already put some on here, and it is completely absorbed, so it's not greasy at all anymore.
So there's your beeswax.
Yeah, this is lovely.
And I
love this.
That's actually really quite hard. It's got a high melting point.
It is hard, yeah.
And but when it goes on the skin, it's like when you drag a candle across a board, it leaves a layer.
Okay, yeah.
And that layer it's obviously there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So you have to make that, which is really hard.
Yeah.
You have to make that soft.
Yeah.
So what you do is you have to reduce the melting point.
Right.
Right, you do this with polymers, you do it with everything else. Okay. This is why I play with it like that.
This is why you have 2 PhDs in chemistry, or chemistry and chemical engineering.
Yes.
Yes.
So what you do is you use probably God's best product in the world.
I agree.
Which is
agree.
cocoa solids.
I agree. I'm a complete chocoholic.
It's when you touch it, when you take a piece out and you feel it, you suddenly get that feeling, the slip, the smoothness, and it's so gorgeous. And that's because it's melting just on the surface of your skin, and it's just acting like a lubricant. It's really good.
Yeah.
So you get the beeswax and you dissolve it in that, and you get the oil and you dissolve it in that, and you get the right ratios together, and then you give it to your wife and say, how's this for application? And she puts it on a couple of times on you and rubs it in and everything, and then goes, yeah, like that one.
Oh good, yeah.
And that was literally it.
So I got the wife's approval.
Oh God, yes.
Oh good.
Has to be the wife's approval.
Yeah, that's it, that's true. But it's gorgeous. I love cacao butter. It's so good for your skin too.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
But it has those lovely characteristics.
So, you have to, like you said, get the ratio just right. You would.
Oh gosh, yeah. It is. There was several iterations of this before.
I bet there was.
And the problem is, right, if you are doing something with two components, if you change one component, you know what the effect is. If you change another component, you've got the effect. If you have three components, you change one component and you don't know what the effect is.
Yeah.
So you have to change one component, then change another component, then change the third component, and you look at it and go, okay, now I can work out where this is going. And you keep doing that. When you get up to, say, 10 components, you are stuffed. It's a lot of checking and playing, and that's what a lot of people don't realise about formulation work.
Yeah. Did you have handwritten notes, or did you write?
Oh God,
you would have had to write all this down. And
Right. I run a system where every formulation is individual.
Yeah.
The raw materials are specific to that material.
Yeah.
Because if you change the raw material, you change the characteristics.
Of course. Yeah.
So everything is written down very carefully.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and you keep revising it and you keep going back and you keep looking for that point where there's like tiny little arrows saying go that way, and then when you get there you go, got it.
How long has it taken you then how long does it take to sort of work, or at least for you?
It takes probably about 3 to 5 weeks for it to completely start, to visibly go.
Yeah, and what about the itch? When do you get itch relief?
Immediately.
Almost immediately. Or immediately.
No, it's actually immediate.
Immediate. Okay.
So you start off with a patch, and your patch is all crusty and horrible and everything.
Yeah.
And then you just put it on, and you can see the oil go in, because you can actually see it almost go translucent.
Yeah.
So it's gone from that nice silvery crust to a translucent thing.
Oh. Yeah.
And the flakes literally just go very thin and they just fall off. And then they stop getting flakes, and then the redness starts to go, the inflammation goes, and then they break up, and then you don't have psoriasis. And the point is, for the last couple of months, I've not been treating it, because I want to know what happens afterwards.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many times a day were you applying it? Just the once?
Just once.
Just once a day? Yeah. And you're no longer applying it on your arms?
No,
is that what you're saying?
for months.
Oh, right. So once...
Well, see, I got all these wonderful results,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why I said, okay, let's release the psoriasis.
Wow. So you're no longer needing to even treat your arms. It's pretty much you're saying it's gone.
It's well, you can see.
Yeah, it's gone.
There ain't none.
What does that feel like, to see it going, to see it disappear?
Oh, you don't know. It's like, yes, I can go out in real life. I'm a human being again.
Yeah. So the dolor is for pain, and dolor means pain in Latin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In Latin.
Because, right, the whole theme that runs about this, if you read the label on the right hand side, it actually says for 50,000 years, 60,000 years, we've been treating pain, things like that, and then we stopped doing it because the magical 1950s, when people thought, scientists will rule the world, we'll all have flying cars and everything, and now people are getting very disenchanted with it because they're suddenly realising, this wonderful antibiotic that makes you well, you can't use anymore because the drugs don't work for the thing that you're giving it for. Yeah. You take an essential oil. Essential oil isn't just one chemical.
Yeah.
It is hundreds of chemicals.
That's fascinating. That's genuinely interesting.
If you want to have a laugh, go and ask somebody for a fragrance that smells of freshly cut grass.
Right.
You will never find it because they can't do it.
Oh, right.
Because there are at least 12,000 chemicals in freshly cut grass in that smell.
Wow, that's absolutely fascinating.
Sorry.
So you've kind of gone back. You're going back to the source or grassroots.
Yes.
You're using these grassroots ingredients.
Yes.
And these are the ones that are working.
Yes.
So,
Because
yeah.
they're actually not just one chemical.
Oh yeah, right. The combination of hundreds.
Yeah, and this is where your whole synergistic interactions comes in, and you do all sorts of things like that. And it's how the hell would you work out a function of a mixture of chemicals when there's 10,000 materials in there?
Yeah.
But the plants do it. Nature's wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, that's been going for the last 4 billion years, right?
Yeah.
All the combinations are pretty well tried out.
Yeah, right.
We've been around for 1 million or so, and we've made a right cock up of
We have, that is true. So what sort of pain can this balm help with?
We've had chemotherapy.
Right, okay.
We've had fibromyalgia.
What sort of pain from chemotherapy? Aching?
I don't ask. I didn't ask.
Just someone with chemotherapy has found relief.
Well, that's why that's why they buy it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because their hands, their feet, all the wherever it is that they got pain is unbearable, and this makes it bearable.
Wow. Okay.
So you've got arthritis.
Yep.
It does seem to have a variety of uses.
Are you finding that people are coming back for more once they try it?
Yeah. I mean, I've got one guy who he's on the tools. He's a tradie.
Yep.
And he can't work because of all the years his hands are all crippled up and things like that. And he said, I'll get some of that. It'll help it, to my hands to move. And because he'd got a big job up that he'd had to go, he's going down to another part of Australia.
Yeah.
And so that was hilarious. Trying to get it to him before he started work.
Yeah.
So I expressed it down to Tasmania.
Yeah.
And it arrived about 3 minutes before he was due to start. So he went, I'll stick it on and see what happens. And after a week, he came back and I said, how'd you go? And he said, yeah, it's great, it's wonderful. I'll get another jar.
Oh, fantastic.
Because I've got to go down and do another week's work. And I said, okay, fine. So I sent him another one. But this time, it was local, so it got there with plenty of time.
Okay.
And he uses it.
Yeah.
But last time I spoke to him, he said, it's weird. He said, because I can't open my hands. I have to get my other hand to open it.
Oh, yeah.
And he was walking with his missus down wherever they were going.
Yeah.
And without thinking, just reached over and grabbed her hand. And she noticed.
Oh.
And she said, you do realise you've just opened your hand.
Oh.
And it's like little things like that, and it's like, it works. My God, it's helping people.
So how can people, if they want to try this, they can literally order it from, you're literally making this at home and you can ship it out anywhere in Australia. Yeah. And so literally, your discovery, I mean, it's obviously helped you, it's helped the people that have tried it. That's really great.
The nightmare would be 100,000 people asking for it.
Because how are you going to make that much?
Well,
you'll have to hire your son to help.
I'd have to go around squeezing the bees to get the beeswax out.
Exactly.
I've only got a limited amount of it at this moment, and it would be a case of, look, first come, first served, but I am getting it.
Yeah, you are making it.
I only bought enough to do me once, and that went within, and it was like, I have to go back and get more, and then a hell of a lot more.
How does that make you feel that you have, with all your years of study and research and knowledge, that you've come across something or you've actually created something that you've already seen is genuinely giving people some real relief? for things that are terrible to suffer from, which is
Yes.
psoriasis and pain.
Yes.
Like, how does that make you feel?
Really, really good.
Yeah.
The thing is, I just like helping people.
Yeah. So there's a lot of products for pain and psoriasis on the market that are promoted heavily on Facebook, on social media sites, and people rush out and buy them.
Yeah.
And then it's really disheartening when they don't work, basically.
Yes.
So you've got something that you have seen work and you know it works. We obviously would like to see people try it for themselves to see if they find then relief from it.
Yeah, I don't know what it will work for.
Yeah.
And I would love to know how far this thing works.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah. 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 What do you hope to see for this product going into the future, or both of them?
Basically that it just keeps helping people.
Yeah.
I know it sounds dreadfully moralistic and everything, but you got to be realistic.
Yeah.
I did this to stop me from hurting.
Yes. Yeah.
It helps other people. That actually makes me smile.
Yeah.
I've succeeded in my life.
Yeah.
Every day that somebody's better off and doesn't in pain, that's a little bit of a tick to me. That's it. I mean, it's not a huge ambition, but I like to see things like that. Because I think there's a lot of rubbish. And people being, shall we say, taken as suckers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of these people are in real dire straits.
Oh yeah.
You know, you have a pain and it never goes away. You're going to grasp at straws.
Yeah.
I'd love it to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It works for a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and thank you for sharing your discovery and being so honest about it too. I really appreciate that, sort of just the candour that you've got for it, and just saying, look, I've got something here, I really want it to work for people.
Yeah, but it's me. I'm probably the worst person to run a business because I'm not really that commercially bothered.
Yeah, well that's
The bit for me is it working and it working for people. That's it. That's my big tick. I've got my thing. Let's move on.
Good on you. Absolutely good on you.